Hey friends, it's so good to see you here. I am Abigail with Abigail's Nook, and if you are new here, you are so welcome. I have just created this new YouTube channel and I'm just starting out and I have 13 subscribers and I'm so excited. I value each one of you, and today's video is going to be something very different. Usually I do cooking videos. I am going to touch on what is gluten and my gluten-free journey, why going gluten-free has changed my life. If any of this sounds interesting to you, I want you to take this moment and like down below, and I hope you stay tuned. What is gluten? Gluten is a protein. It is a small itty bitty little protein that makes such a big difference in so many people's lives. This protein is found in 3 substances. You ready for this? Wheat, barley, rye. Okay, so if you are interested in going gluten-free, those are the 3 substances you have to stay away from. So what gluten does, this little protein, what it does is it binds stuff together. It's sticky and it holds. So if you're making dough, it holds dough together. If you are making soup and you make a roux, it thickens things up. If you are making noodles, it holds the noodles together. So you get the gist. Gluten is a protein that holds stuff together. So why is this little protein causing so much trouble in America? Why do you see gluten-free stuff all over the stores? Why do you see gluten-free everywhere you go? That is a good question. Some people have immune response to this little gluten protein. And if you have an immune reaction where your own body attacks your good cells, you have celiac disease. And that's what I have. I have celiac disease. There are 2 more categories you could be under. You can have an allergic reaction to actually have it to wheat, or you could have a gluten intolerance where it just upsets your stomach. But when you have an immune reaction that's heritedly passed down to you, you have celiac disease. Okay, so I am going to explain to you what gluten does to people with celiac disease. Okay, so in your small intestines, you have villi. Villi are these little finger-like projections that come out of your small intestines, and you have like thousands, millions of them. And their responsibility is to launch things down your small intestines, or their main responsibility is to take in nutrients. They absorb those vitamins, they absorb everything you need for your daily diet. So villi are very important. One of the main symptoms is when you have celiac disease, this immune system attacks these villi, because these villi are also important for immune health in your gut. So your immune system are attacking these healthy cells. So this gluten protein comes through your small intestines. Your body does not recognize this and thinks it's bad, and it starts attacking the protein, and it starts attacking your own body, essentially. So it starts attacking these villi with an inflammatory response. And the inflammatory response brings on where it wears down these villi to nothing. Like, it attacks these villi and wears them completely down, and to where, like, they're not able to absorb the nutrients you need. They're not able to do as much function as they are set out to do. So it wears down these villi. It also, if it keeps wearing down, it also starts tearing little bitty slits into your small intestines. Like, this immune response. Your body's attacking your own body. Like, it is crazy. So essentially, when you have these little incisions, these little tears in your small intestines, things start going awry. So what happens is bad bacteria, bad cells start coming into your small intestines, and then good bacteria and good nutrients essentially goes out of your intestines where it needs to be absorbed. So this causes a leaky gut. It causes the intestines to be more permeable than it needs to be, and it causes a leaky gut. All right, so now that I have clarified what celiac disease is and what it does to your small intestines, I'm going to get on to my journey with gluten-free and how gluten-free has saved my life intentionally being gluten-free. All right, so back in 2012, I was 18 years old. I had some symptoms. I wasn't sure why or where it was coming from. It first started out, I started itching. I started breaking out in hives, and I was doing it once a week. I was had a headache every once in a while, but and a little sluggish here and there, but I just really didn't think about it. I thought maybe I was allergic to something. Essentially, I thought it was something out in the woods because I have horses, and I was feeding hay, and I was brushing them and taking them on walks and stuff. So I really thought it was the environment and something in the environment that was causing these reactions. So I continued on with my life. It was not until a year later I started having more issues. I started having headaches all the time. I started getting so sluggish and so sleepy I had to take naps during the day. I was getting headaches and migraines, and I was losing weight. It's got so bad that my mom started taking me to the doctor, to my family doctor, and he could not find out what was wrong with me. At the time, I was doing something for work. I was about to ready to become certified, so I was taking horse lessons once a week for 2 hours, and I told my mom, I was like, my joints feel like they ache and they hurt for a whole hour. My muscles every up and down like I have the flu for a whole hour, and then they go numb. They go numb, and I was just, after every horse lesson, I would go home and like crash. And this is not normal for a 19-year-old, almost 20-year-old. It's just not. So we went to the doctor. I gave him all my symptoms. He diagnosed me with fibromyalgia, and he did not quite understand what was going on. I told him I couldn't get out of the bed in the morning. I told him I was tired all the time, and he thought I was genuinely depressed. Which I was sad. I mean, if you understand what was going on with my small intestines, it takes all your nutrients out, so it makes you tired. It takes all your vitamin B's away, which makes you sad. It makes you generally depressed. So I guess I was depressed, but not the reason he thought I was depressed. So he ended up putting me on an antidepressant, which is a whole nother story. So I went on the antidepressant. It did not help. It started to where I could not get out of the bed. I got up in the morning. I ate. Well, it wasn't early morning. I probably rolled out of the bed at 12. I ate. I went back to bed and slept all day. Got up for supper, ate, slept all day. Mom was so worried about me. If it wasn't for her, I don't think I could have gotten through this. I'm sorry. She was there supporting me, and she says, Abigail, I know you're sick. I know you're sick, and we will get through this, and I will help you get through this. So she was researching, she was doing all this stuff to try to find out what was wrong with me. And I did not know what was wrong with me. And we, we happened to be watching a Hallmark movie one day. We were watching a Hallmark movie and we were eating popcorn, and that person on the Hallmark movie said she was gluten-free and she had celiac disease. And my mom looked at me and I looked at my mom. My mom said, maybe you have celiac disease. And I said, what's celiac disease, Mama? And I did not know what it was. And we Googled it together and we researched it together, and it started making sense. Because back when I was 18, I would go for days and days on only eating one meal a day or not eating at all that day and feeling the best of my life. I was like, it's making sense that it has to be something in my food. And I was like, wow. So I went gluten-free, and I can almost tell a difference immediately because I did not have the bloating anymore the inflammation was causing. And now it took a while, a long while, because those villi, they wear down and they're damaged. It took a long while for me to gain nutrients back that I needed. In the meanwhile, like, I was working and I was so foggy headed most of the time. I do not know how I got through work, because you remember, it's depleting all your nutrients. Like, you get foggy headed if you do not have nutrients in your body to support your brain and what it needs to function and when it needs to think. I mean, anybody would be foggy headed if they didn't have the nutrients they needed. It all comes down to gut health. Gut health. All comes down to that. But yes, I'm so thankful that we watched that Hallmark movie, that we were spending time together. I really think that the Lord laid everything out for me to be taken care of, because I've been researching people with celiac disease, and most of the time they ended up in the hospital. I am so thankful that I didn't end up in the hospital, even though my mom probably wanted to take me several times. I'm just so thankful I did not end up in the hospital like some of these other people. But yes, I went off gluten, and I stayed off gluten for years and years and years, and then I met Brent. And I thought that it would be cool if I could eat the same things he was eating, and I thought it would be romantic if I could like eat the same foods he was eating. And I went back on gluten. Do not do that if you have celiac disease. Do not do that if you have a wheat allergy. Do not do that if you have gluten intolerance. Just don't do it, because gluten is a little protein and it lives inside your intestines for a very long time. And if you cheat on your diet, I only have gluten every once in a while, you may not have symptoms that day, but you could have symptoms a week later, because it lives in your system for so long, and it builds up and it builds up and it builds up, and it makes those tears and those slits, and it cuts down those villi and damages those villi. Just don't do it. It's not worth it. Don't go off your diet for other people. Stay on your diet. And after I got married, I was on gluten for about 6 months, and I started having the same old symptoms. I was in bed, bloated, fatigued, sad, headaches, itchiness, and It's just where your body attacks itself and thinks that this little protein is bad. Don't conform to other people and be like other people, because you are made different. You are made different. Be you. And if you have to be gluten-free, be gluten-free. Really? You cannot chew this in my video. You cannot do it. You want to go outside and chew it? Go outside the door and chew it? Okay, come on. Let's go. I can already tell this video is going to be so interesting. So interesting. Hey guys. So welcome back to my channel, and apparently the dogs have to help me with today's video. Ain't that right? So this is Indigo, this is Brent's dog, and this is Kleina, little Kleina Bale. She's 10 months old and she acts like it, even though she's really big. She weighed 92 pounds the last time I took her to the vet. And she's just a couple of pounds weighing the same as I do. So